you heal up and you're going to return to in-ring action, and you're going to face a fellow by the name of Rod McFarlane in Baton Rouge. He's another name that listeners might not be familiar with, and you'll work with him a lot. Do you have any recollection of this man?
Not at all.
There's so many names on here, and some of them I'm like, holy shit, Jake worked with this guy, and then I'll get names like this or this Mike Boyer guy, and I'm like, I've literally never heard this name.
Uh,
Well, like you had the prior year, Jake, you'll work for Mid-South for a little bit, and then you're gonna go over to the land of the rising sun again. You're gonna be in International Wrestling Enterprise in Japan from the end of February through March of 1980. Jake, I know that you hated working in Japan, but here you find yourself headed back over there for more. Can you tell us about your decision to return?
I needed the money. I believe at the time I was making about $500 a week, maybe $6.
From Watts or Japan?
From Watts.
Mm.
And I could go to Japan and make $1,500
a week.
Yeah.
That is great money in 1980.
Yeah. So it was an easy decision.
Man, $1,500 a week, but it comes at a cost. Of course, you're traveling again and you're away from your family. More importantly, you're over there in Japan where you had been before and you didn't exactly love your time there.
No, I didn't love it, but it was a good money move. I can't remember when I went with Mike Boyette as a tag team.
You did work with Mike Boyette while you were there, and then while you're there, you also worked with this man, a man by the name of Randy Tyler. If you're watching here on YouTube, that is a picture from this exact tour that Jake was on here in early 1980. He's standing there with a man who probably a lot of you have never heard of. I actually did hear of him, if you can believe it. His name is Randy Tyler. He worked one match in JCP in 1984, which is where I think I had seen him. And that was the end of his career. So he had a pretty short one. Jake, what can you tell us about Mr. Tyler?
Randy was a good worker. He could actually work.
Yeah?
Yeah, he was a big guy, too.
He looks it, yeah.
Yeah, he was 280. But he was a hell of a worker. He could do it all.
Retired fairly young. I don't know if it was an injury or what. I didn't get to that part in my research, but what was it then?
He just decided to get out of it.
He burned out.
Yeah, he became a minister.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I mean, we look at this picture. You are 6'4". That would probably put him at 6'4", maybe 6'5". He looks possibly a little bit bigger. And he said, "Hey, enough of this taking bumps. I'll go be a minister."
Yep.
Good for him, man. Got out of it and proved that there's life afterwards. I think that you and I had spoken about Randy Tyler before, and you had mentioned that he kind of became like a confidant for you when you were over there. Like you were able to kind of confide in him about some difficulties you were having.
Yeah. I'd had a rough time over there because my wife had my babies.
Mm.
I went over there. Actually, I went over on a last-minute phone call.
Really?
Because I was actually sending talent to Japan, right?
Yeah.
As a booker. And I sent a guy over there called the Turk. And he got busted at the border.
With what?
Marijuana.
Oh.
So they threw his ass in jail. So Japan called me wanting somebody else right away. And I thought about it. My wife was about 5 months pregnant. 5.5.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, well, hell, I can go over there for 8 weeks. Got plenty of time. So I went. And about halfway through the tour, I get the phone call that she's had the babies.
My goodness.
She had them at 7.5 months. And they weighed 3'2" and 4'2" and 3'8".
Terrifying, dude.
Yeah. And I wanted to come back home right away, but an old emperor had died, and there was absolutely no flights to be taken.
Mm.
So I had to stick it out.
And Randy helped you get through kind of the emotion and difficulty of all that.
Absolutely. He gave me a shoulder to cry on, man.
That's a good man. Shout out to Randy Tyler. I know he's no longer with us, but folks, go out of your way to look this man up. He had a nice little history in wrestling, and to Jake's point, hell of a worker.
Is he dead?
Yes, I believe that he did pass away. I want to say it was 2002. I think he was still a fairly young man.
Wow.
Yeah. So you hadn't remained in contact with Randy presumably afterwards?
No, I hadn't.
It would be hard to because you're traveling and on the road, and he left the business. So by the time he left, you're starting to just hit your stride.
Yeah, I'm just getting going, man.
Looking over a lot of the names from the tour, there's not a ton of names that really jump off the page, but this is not New Japan or All Japan. It's a smaller company. What can you tell us about the company itself, International Wrestling Enterprises?
It was called International.
Okay.
International Wrestling. They were called Blood and Guts.
Oh.
They had a cage match every night.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah. Guess who wound up in that cage a lot?
Oh no.
Yep.
So, are you gigging every night?
Yep.
Your head must have been ground beef by the end of this.
It was like sausage.
Oh, God. That sounds miserable. And also, it's like, side note, this is like right around the time that AIDS was really starting to pick up steam, and you're over there just bleeding all over yourself and your opponent every night.
Yep.
Open wound on your head in a foreign country.
Yep.
Only in professional wrestling, brother.
Oh, only the best.
I assume that this is also the tour where I believe he told me a story about a Japanese doctor that refused to treat you.
Yeah, well, he was going to treat me, but he wasn't going to give me anything for pain. So he sewed my head up and had to cauterize a vein in my forehead because that's vein. And he had to grab that vein with these damn suture grabbers or whatever they're called, and grab the vein and pull it out a little bit, and then stick that hot rod to it.
Oh.
And cauterize it. So I was calling that motherfucker everything you could think of.
I'm sure he took great joy in it.
He did. He didn't speak any English.
This dude's a fucking sadist.
Oh, fuck, man. He remembered the war.
Oh, shit. Okay, so he was still pissed about the bombings.
Yeah.
Fuck. You weren't even fucking born yet. This guy's holding a grudge.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So I don't really blame you for not exactly loving your experience over there in Japan. It doesn't sound like it's all great. At the same time, though, it's got to be interesting. You're in a foreign country. It's, the culture is different. Did you have any time to go and experience the culture, have any fun?
Fuck no.
It was just work and bloody.
Work, man, every night.
Holy shit. And it was like a 12-week tour, if I remember right. And it just fucking miserable.
Yeah, it rolled on quite a while.
I mean, a nice chunk of change at $1,500 a week for 12 weeks, but man, you paid for it.
Damn right I did.
This is also, of course, a period of time when you are temporarily going to wear some face paint. We've got a shirt available right now at 1tsport.com commemorating that period of time. It's a very small period, but it's actually got Jake's name on it in Japanese. It says Japan 1980, and there he is, just like the Kiss Demon. What an awesome photo.
Yeah.
All right. Mike Boyette, your buddy, was over there as well. You've said before that one of the most underrated workers of all time. And so could you remind our audience real quick, what made Mike Boyette so special in your mind?
He was an incredible bumper. Yeah. If he got in a bad mood, he'd go out and have somebody backdrop him. He'd kick out the lights.
The lights.
Yeah. He'd take such a high bump that he could reach the lights
Holy shit.
and kick them out, which stopped the show.
A literal show-stopping finish.
Yep.
Wow. Mike Boyette, another name that we don't hear very often or doesn't get discussed very often, but just like one of those kind of journeyman guys that made a name for himself all over the place, including Japan.
Yeah, he did, man. He was a great worker.